back. Here we go. We're going to finish off subtracting rational numbers by finding the distance between numbers on a number line. Now, interestingly enough, this is just a play on vocabulary. If you understand what it means to find the distance between, well, the distance between is nothing more than finding the difference between the two numbers. Finding the difference. In other words, difference means what? Yeah, subtract. Difference means subtracting. And of course, when you subtract, we're going to subtract the smaller number from the greater number. Why? That is because distance is always positive. If you come up with a negative answer when you're trying to find distance, your answer is not correct. I don't care if you walk backwards, dive underwater, the distance that you are walking backwards or the distance underwater, that is a positive number. Now you can represent that distance with a negative, saying that meaning you're underwater or going backwards, but true distance is always positive. So, that being said, here we have a number line. Now you probably haven't seen a number line go vertical before, but they do. Number lines can go any direction you want. And number lines, when they go vertical, the positive numbers go up and the negative numbers go down. That's pretty nice. It says find the distance between the two numbers. So I put this on here for a lot of reasons, but one, it will help you real quickly recognize which number is greater and which number is smaller. So if I plot these two numbers on a number line, first I have a negative 3 and 1/4. So a negative 3 is I start at 0, and if I go down to negative 3, let me use a different color here. I go down to negative 3 and then go down 1/4 more, somewhere right here, negative 3 and 1/4. And the other number is 2 and 3/4. So that means I'm going up 2 and going to 3/4 up. So 2 and 3/4. So obviously 2 and 3/4 is greater than a negative 3 and 1/4. So I would take 2 and 3/4 and I would subtract. I always take the greater number and subtract the smaller number. And when I do, I will always get a positive if I do things correctly. Well, we recognize, some of you might recognize, hey, I can skip instantly to my integer rules in this particular case. And I can say 2/3, adding the opposite, is plus 3 and 1/4. Now I know that the denominators are the same, so I'm just going to add these numbers. A whole 2 and a whole 3. If I go 2 plus 3, I get 5. And 3/4 plus 1/4 is 4/4. And 4/4 is 1, so my final distance between the numbers is 6. Sometimes you will recognize and make things simpler before you go through the entire process. All right? But for those of you who need to, go through the process. If you didn't understand that, make sure you ask me in class. Again, find the distance between these two numbers. This time I gave you a horizontal number line. And horizontal number lines are very important. We have a negative 1 and 1/2, so I'm going to start at 0 and go back to negative 1 and go somewhere right here. Negative 1 and 1/2. And we have 2 and 2/3, so we're going to be roughly up here somewhere, 2 and 2/3. So I recognize that 2 and 2/3 is greater, so 2 and 2/3 minus a negative 1 and 1/2. I will have a positive distance between these two numbers. I will have a positive difference between any numbers on a number line when I'm finding distance. And of course, again, I recognize that I can instantly apply my integer numbers. I can instantly apply my integer numbers and write 2 and 2/3 plus 1 and 1/2. And now if I want to just go right into adding, I can go right into saying, hey, 2 and 1 is 3. I know my common denominator for thirds and halves is going to be 6. And so I would have 2 times 2, which is 4. And I would 3 times 1, which is 3. And that gives me 3 and 7, 6. I need to simplify. My final answer would be 4 and 1/6. Make sense? I hope so. Of course, you need to ask questions in class. I can't stress that enough, asking questions. Our last problem of the night, before our quick write real life application, you have $101.62 in your savings account. You withdraw $45.41 to pay your cell phone bill. Do you have enough money left to buy a video game that costs $56.25? All right. Well, this becomes a simple subtraction problem, right? Using integers and rational numbers. You know that withdrawing is having a negative. So you can just simply say $101.62 minus $45.41. You are subtracting when you withdraw. And so now when you subtract, 2 minus 1 is 2, 6 minus 2 is 4. Bring down the decimal. Well, I've got to borrow from this 10 to make 9, so I can have 11 minus 5, which is 6, and 9 minus 4, which is 5. So after paying my cell phone bill, I have $56.42. Is that enough money? Oh, wait a minute. That's not correct. Hello? Mr. Ross really made a mistake. I'm wondering how many of you caught that and were streaming at the video. 2 minus 1 is 1, and 6 minus 4 is 2. I end up with $56.21. And now when I take a look and I compare that up here, $56.21 is less than $56.25. So the answer to my question is no, I do not have enough money. And then I can answer the questions. If yes, how much extra money we have? Well, the answer was not yes, the answer was no. So how much more money do I need? Well, you and I are pretty quick individuals. 56 and 56, that washes away. I have 4 more cents over here, so I need 4 more cents. I can either write it this way, or I can say 4 cents. Right? Either way works. You guys are pretty quick. That's a pretty straightforward problem. So we're done with this video. The most challenging part of this second video is probably going to be completing part C of Quick Write number 2. And so you will need to copy this down, including the boxes, and you need to complete the blanks. Fill in the numbers that would go in here to make this mathematical equation, this math sentence, a true statement. So what am I subtracting from 3 3/4 to get 2? Knowing that the denominator of the second fraction has to be 8s. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you've written down questions regarding subtracting rational numbers. Bring them to me tomorrow so we can talk about them. You can highlight, you can put a question mark in there, whatever you feel. When you're done with the Quick Write, please work on your assignment, finishing off that 45 quality effort of minutes, being accountable for what you have to get done. You're recognizing that if you put forth the effort, math becomes easier, you learn more, you get more confident, and the wheel starts to turn in such a positive way. You can never give up. Keep the faith, people. Keep the faith and move forward. Believe in yourself. Be confident. Using some aggressiveness tonight, some urgency, working on getting things done, always using time effectively, building your principles of intelligence and your principles of character, and doing the things that you need to do. You guys rock. It's such a pleasure to be with you. I will see you tomorrow.